Welcome back. This is still the Polity reaching you live from Abuja. We have been, bringing you up to speed about the events around the nation. But right now, like I said earlier, we will be focusing on the KOGI elections, and other elections too, but particularly KOGI, the aftermath. We'll be taking a look at the party that came second in that election, the SDP. We'll be taking a look at what could be next for them, how they viewed that party, that election, the results and the outcome, and what's in store for the people of KOGI in terms of opposition or moving forward in terms of challenging the results or a lack of that. I've been joined now in the studio by the spokesman for the Muritala Ajaka gubernatorial campaign organization, talking about Mr. Faruk Adejoh-Audu. He joins me now to do justice to the matter. Good afternoon, welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Ogbewe.
Thank you so much for coming.
Good afternoon, viewers. My pleasure to be here.
Thanks for coming.
Yes.
All right, before we go into specific details, give us a general response, a general reaction to that election and the results.
Well, I would suggest that anyone who has followed the trends, anyone who followed that election, will by now be aware or even be overwhelmed by the scandalous turn of events in that election. When you were making your intro just now, you said the party that came second. We'd like to dispute that very strongly. Well, the party that was declared second, but we didn't come second, we came first. Okay? There's a difference between you declared us second and we came second. The facts show, and I'm not talking about our own facts, even facts on INEC show that we are the first. The other people...
You have access to these facts?
No, they are on IRF. They are on IRF. They are invalid results on IRF. Okay? The law is clear. The moment voting is in excess of accreditation, that vote is null and void. And you now uploaded over 200,000 votes that are null and void. You use it to declare somebody first. And the difference between our candidate and this person who has these dubious votes is far less than 200. So obviously, I mean, the evidence is there, provided by them, not us.
But, at some point, INEC did say that there were some regular updates that they, perform on the IRF portal, and that's just what we saw in terms of some figures changing thereabouts. What do you make of that response from INEC?
You see, facts do not need embellishments. When something is true, it's true. Facts are constant. Truth is constant. You don't need to begin to explain the truth. Okay? If I say my name is Faruk Adejoh-Audu, I don't need to explain it. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm Faruk Adejoh-Audu. Now, when INEC begins to try to explain, to justify, to do this, you know that something funny has happened. What happened in that KOGI, that November 11 election, was brazen, it was crude, it was shameful, it was disgraceful. And this was admitted even by INEC itself. On the day of election, INEC issued a statement, not to us. We didn't issue a statement. We had not even made a formal report at this point in time. INEC issued a statement admitting that results sheets, which are, election materials, they are either sensitive or non-sensitive. One things about ballot boxes, whatever. But result sheets, ballot papers, and some other things are very sensitive materials. Result sheets are only supposed to be in the custody of INEC electoral officers. INEC admitted that result sheets are leaked, not even leaked, that they were in the hands of all sorts of people who were not actors.
Well, they said they would investigate.
Yes, but on the basis of what you have admitted is wrong, you have already declared somebody a winner. Even when you had 7 days to investigate and give and produce your report, you announced the winner within 24 hours. But let me tell you, they announced that the process had been compromised. They suspended the election and said they will come on 24 hours later to bring, and that they were going to investigate some of those things. And report back 24 hours later. Less than 12 hours after that, they started announcing results, collating and announcing results, even in those places that INEC had admitted results sheets leaked.
Right, before we come back to this, I'd like to, really kind of start from the beginning.
Yes.
I'm sure you must have been on ground.
Yes.
Let us start with that day, November 11. What can you say happened? What you witnessed, the reports you got, and also you are saying that your candidate actually won.
Yes.
Tell us about that too. What gave you that impression? And
well, I think I've explained that. You see, there are several parts of election. The first part is whether or not the environment for universal adult suffrage, that is voting, free and fair and all that, whether the environment was conducive. That we give to the federal government of President Tinubu.
It
was free.
Okay.
The usual thing that used to happen is that people used to, even if you count down to the election, they were just killing people. Even came to the house of Adejoh, killed people and killed policemen, agents of the governor, admittedly. The commissioner of police in KOGI, Onoha, admitted that they were working to go and look for thugs. You are looking for thugs, it is policemen you ended up killing. Police officials, anyway, that is by the way. So, the environment, few days to the election, that violence was brought under control by the deployment of the military, by the federal government. And we're all happy. And we now filed out to go and vote. So when we did the voting, of course we're getting, one of the earliest things we heard was that, Magogo local government, all the polling units they went to, not a single presiding officer came with result sheets. So the people raised alarm and said, no, except you bring result sheets, we are not going to proceed. So a lot of them fled the polling units. Okay, while that was going on, it was then discovered that in every local government of the central, except in some part of Ajaka, which is the metropolitan part of Ajaka local government, that was the only places they brought result sheets. That is because that one was in metropolitan, you can't get away with that. Ganaja, the Ganaja area and Ajaka township, those were very urban. Ganaja, the Ganaja area, for instance, is in Lokoja town, which is in Ajaka local government. So those are the only places that result sheets got to. In local government, you discover that those areas that are riverine, those remote areas, result sheets didn't go there. So, of course, the alarms were raised. And while we were contemplating sending a report to INEC itself came on air and admitted that there was fraud. Okay, and said they were going to investigate it, like I was saying. And while we were waiting for the investigation, they started collecting results. Then later, they now came on and said, okay, they have done some investigation. There's going to be rerunning about 75 polling units across about 5 local governments. So why they say the run was supposed to have taken place Saturday 2-3 days ago. Why we're waiting to digest that, they now declare somebody winner. You have declared somebody winner while we are still going for a run. How do you justify it? It was very messy, sir. It was very messy, it was very disgraceful, embarrassing, it was crude. No election has been this bad. And that is not because it affects us. An election that the umpire admitted that the process had been compromised, that there had been fraud in the process. The umpire said it was investigating and bringing results, bringing report 24 hours. It wasn't up to 12 hours. The umpire started announcing results. Then in the midst of the announcing results, the same umpire came and said, look, okay, we have discovered there was so much fraud. 75 polling units. We're going to what do you call it? We're going to do the run in 75 polling units. While we're waiting for that, you now declare the winner. And I told us, okay, you have 7 days to go and review what you have declared. What was the rush to declare when you have already admitted that there was fraud? And they now did that and say, okay, you guys should just go to court. We don't get that. We don't get that. Election will come to a point in this country where all of us will go to the field with whatever arsenal we have to demonstrate our strength, either violently or otherwise. Then at the end of the day, the remaining people will now head for court so that we'll go to court and say, okay, court, how did you see it?
But there's a question here.
Yes.
Even before the election, we had a special town hall session a day before the election.
Yes.
And a caller called in, and I really can't recall the location he said, but he said you people should tell security and everybody to focus on KOGI
Central.
I can't remember. I really can't remember. But he mentioned something like that. And basically what he was trying to say is stay vigilant about this place. We know things usually happen here. So the point I'm making is if a caller, someone who is probably an electorate, could figure that out, I'm sure the SDP must have had areas of concern. So the question I want to ask now is, because even prior to the election, I've had guests here who've made allegations that even in the last election, that some funny business allegedly happened in some specific local governments. So I want to know, was there any sort of preparation to, you know, if not stop it, to record it so that it would be on the record? Because now you've admitted that it was peaceful, fairly peaceful in terms of that. So the question now is, those local governments where you have strong suspicions about, or where what was done to sort of get what's going on, so that when you come out and speak, it will be, you know, just, you know, take a look at the facts.
Okay, see it now. The truth of the matter is this: in the last presidential, Senate, House of Rep, whatever election, House of Assembly election that was done in KOGI State, the 5 local governments of KOGI Central at no point exceeded 105,000 votes. Those are local elections. Who's going to represent us in the assembly? Who's going to represent us in the House of Reps? These are very local matters that bother individuals. 105,000. That was the total vote from all parties put together. 105,000. Do you understand? 105,000. Okay. In every election so far, the only time since the introduction of biometrics devices for election, the only time the vote had risen sharply was 2019 election. Okay, and you know 2019 you're supposed to go and do voters accreditation through card reader and all that. Now there were over almost 300,000 votes from KOGI Central alone for Yahya Bello, and more than 250,000 of those votes were by what do they call it, incident form. That is the form meant for people who cannot who do not have hands, who do not have hands to do, I mean, who do not have hands to stamp. They will now put to the card and now fill this form. More than 80% of those votes came from incident forms. Of course, your guess is as good as mine. Let's not even dwell on that. Now, in the current elections, there's been a lot of improvements, you know, to guard against fraud in the election, and that is the design of these beavers, which was home invented by INEC, and everybody praised it. You understand? The beavers make it practically impossible for you, and the law also backs it up. It makes it impossible for you to bring fraud into election. How does this happen? You go for accreditation. Accreditation is electronically done. There is no incident form, there is nothing. You come personally, you use your fingerprint or you use your card, then the camera, the beaver camera will snap you and record you on the device as having been accredited. Okay? Now, after the accreditation is done, manipulating the number of accreditation is almost impossible. So the number of accreditation stands. Now, any vote in excess of the accreditation, the law gives the power to the presiding officer at every point. The presiding officer at the polling unit, or at the collation center, or even at the returning officer, gives power to them to cancel. In Bayelsa, Nimbe and Southern Adejoh, the votes emanating from those local governments in this same election was in excess of the number of registered voters accredited, and they cancelled it. It happened same day with us. They cancelled Southern Adejoh, they cancelled Nimbe. That was why the APC candidate Silva didn't win. They cancelled it. In KOGI, in more than of the 2,000 and of the 200 and something wards, in more than 20% of the wards, presiding officers had on their own cancelled results even before going to collation center. Why did they do that? By the time they come to count, they will now discover what I have accredited here is 108. How come I'm getting 112 votes? They won't be able to explain it. And if they take that result further, by law, the next presiding officer will cancel it. So in more than 10-20% of the polling units of the entire state, people cancel those results. They're the ones of Central stood. It is there. The total number of accredited voters, PDP, those who are likely to vote for PDP, vote for APC, vote for APGA, vote for all sorts of things, vote for SDP, vote for whoever. Total number of accredited voters was 94,030 something. Okay? That's the total number of accredited voters. But the votes that went to the APC candidate alone, from a place that 94,000 votes were accredited, that 4,000 voters were accredited, was 238,000.
Well, that will require a bit of fact checking. But
you can fact check now. It's there now.
Yeah. For sure. Okay.
There's a difference of 174,000 votes above the number of persons, voters accredited to vote for that election. It is 174,000 votes. So you garnered 238,000 votes from 3 local governments. We have not brought the fraud in Ajakuta. We have not brought the fraud in Basa local government. Neither have we brought the fraud in Lokoja. Where we also have these things are on IREV. It's easy. Go there. Go to the INEC portal. Say you are looking for local government. If we give you and say, okay, go to social local government, go to social polling units, we'll give you the. I don't have the list here now. Even though I have the list, I won't be able to read because it's massive. You go there, you discover that the number of accreditation is far lower. Okay, like in all those adult areas, you see one place, you see in some places 102 accredited, vote 980. Okay, in Okene and Adabi, for instance, the votes were in excess of what do you call it? What do they call that thing? PVC collected. These are facts. You can cross-check it, sir. Go to IREF, go to INEC facts. Now, let me tell you another thing. KOGI has 21 local governments. The law says before you can be declared as winner of the election, you must win in. You must win 25% at least to third of the local governments in the state. Otutu didn't get that. INEC announced that it has cancelled or it has suspended the election in Ogbewe local government. That was the announcement of INEC. It was issued in a statement publicly. Then when they were going to announce, when they were going to declare their Audu, what did they do? They said election actually held in one polling unit, in one ward. Are you listening to me? Yeah. Election, that is, votes were collected in one polling unit or in 2 polling units in one ward. Out of 10 wards, with polling units of over 100, about 2 polling units, elections held there. So they now collected the votes from those polling units together and now use it to represent the result of Ogori-Magogo local government. On the basis of that, they declared that he had scored 25% in Ogori local government. I'm not a lawyer, but even logic, arithmetic, or whatever means you apply, how do you say 2 polling units in a local government of over 120 polling units? 2 polling units, you pick the result there, and now you ignore all the rest. And those 2 polling units are in one ward. Now, how do you know that if the entire local government had voted, that the man was going to get 25% there? How did I not make that assumption? So it was total fraud. It was embarrassing. It is shameful. What INEC has now told Nigerians is that when they tell you to come and do election, don't bother. Just look for some INEC officials and collect result sheets from them. Just wait. When the other people go and vote, just write your results and come. Get my label. The ones that will compromise some of them, they collect the results and announce it for you. That is all we need to do now.
Well, Mr. Audu, from what you've said now, it seems very obvious.
Yes.
But when I'm talking about I believe his first reaction, the SDP candidate, Mr. Ajaka, he said something about, he has been here, why waste time with the courts? These are cases that one would expect that you could have a very strong case. Well, so why not,
what Ajaka has said, what Ajaka has said, and I would like you to go back and watch the clip, is that he personally may not go to court, but he doesn't know if the party is going to court. Ajaka is a candidate of the party first and foremost.
All right.
Do you understand? It's a candidate of the party. What he's saying that, freely interpreted, what he's saying that I cannot decide for the party. Okay. But for me.
But can the party can't go without him, can they?
Of course they can. Why not? Why not? They sponsored him. They sponsored him. They were the one who presented a candidate. The courts have decided repeatedly, in Amishi and even in this Ayabelo, the courts have decided that the seat and the electoral seat belongs to the party, not the individual.
True.
Do you understand? Yeah. So if the party feels that, well, but in any case, Ajaka will go to court personally now. Because we even told him that, look, your own disappointment does not matter.
What changed? What changed, do you think? What
changed was, I mean, the man does not belong to himself. He is owned by people. Apart from being owned by the party, he is owned by people. Okay? Legitimate votes. He polled majority of legitimate votes. So you can't tell those people you're not going to court. They told you, no sir, no sir, no sir, no sir. You may be disappointed in the system, but we will give the system an opportunity to either correct itself or disgrace itself. Do you understand? Correct? Because now everything went well. People went out and voted. We did the campaigning. We lost people. Human beings killed, several of them, property destroyed, people maimed, even policemen killed in the course of the campaign, only for somebody to just carry results and write results. And INEC, the electoral umpire of Nigeria, will declare the person winner. And ask, you go to court. Go to court. Ha. So if all INEC needs to do is to direct people to go to court, then you should, I mean, we should just dissolve INEC now. We should dissolve INEC. So that we go and fight it out, then go to court. After the fight, the court will announce the car, yes, you were very strong. I think what you did was right. You deserve INEC. Okay, so he was possibly disappointed with the system. And the feeling out there amongst, not just him, the feeling out there amongst a lot of Nigerians, those of us who do not, they call us laymen, isn't it? That's what they call us. They say that a layman. We actually don't understand what they do there. What we know is that the judgments come, a lot of times we are flabbergasted, we are outraged, we are shocked that things like this will happen. Some other times you hear people shout, the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. Okay? But the truth of the matter is that you cannot sit down and assume that because the facts are obvious, the truth is obvious, you will go to court in Nigeria and get justice. No. Everybody knows that. There's already one controversy now. The Kano State election that was dissolved.
Appeal court.
The judgments were 2. And the impression is that they rushed to edit the judgment. They rushed to edit the judgment to favor the last man standing. That is it. Yes, we'll go to court. Ajaka will go to court. High advisor will go to court. The alternative of using the judiciary is taken to arms. That is the alternative. That is the alternative, and not an alternative that is open to us. That is an alternative we want to face. Somebody cheats you, what do? You go to court.
Indeed.
I hope that you get justice from court. If the justice comes, good. If it doesn't come, no problem. We'll lick our wounds.
Indeed. I'm happy you dissociated yourself from the other alternative that is not open to you. Truly, everything should be done legally.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but let's quickly talk now about. I'm happy you are here so that you can sort of react to what the other side is saying.
Right.
Yes, because the things you've laid out now, they have responses to everything. So it's good to hear what you say. Speaking about the local governments, I think at Davi and where the bulk of the APC votes came from. There's a narrative that what happened was that your candidate actually, allegations anyway, that your candidate began this ethnic politicking, and that is what led to other ethnic groups taking the matter up as to say, well, if you are going to preach your ethnic group, we are going to show you that we can turn up. And there's this narrative that at about the time of the election, that buses were going left, right, center, bringing KOGI residents from all over the country. Some people came from far away, some from close. That some people even flew in from outside the country just to come and vote, particularly using that ethnic sentiment that we want our brother to win because someone has said that this is their turn, so to speak. What do you make of that, especially that that narrative that there were massive buses coming in for the APC? Did you see any of this a day before election or election?
Facts are sacred, comments are free, speculations are free. Number one, is it when people are weak, like we say in arguments, if you don't have the facts, quote the law. If you don't have the law, quote the facts. If you have neither the facts nor the law, simply shout. Okay? That's how you sustain in the management of argument. The thing is this: when the campaigns came, the government of Yahya Bello has never pretended, and I keep saying it. Has Ododo been to your studio before? Have you seen him in any TV studio before? Have you seen him anywhere before? The only time he ever faced the cameras was when they gave him flag in the State House, and he was cornered. And in that place he said there was no APC in KOGI State. He said so. It's on record. Okay? The candidate he had was just basically the man who has been declared governor now is basically a minion. Puppet. Nothing. Okay? Now the man who is sponsoring him has ruled for almost 8 years now. His tenure will be expiring in January. In those 8 years, KOGI has never been poorer. People die from violence, from all sorts of matters. In fact, in his own KOGI Central, over 30 people just vanished on the face of the earth in the course of his governorship of these 8 years. These are facts. I have their names. I can read the names to you. Very prominent people. One of them is called Otori, the son of a senator. The senator was in that man is about 96 years old now, or 93 years old now. A senator of the Federal Republic in the Second Republic. The only son he has, who is opposed to Yahya Bello, vanished off the face of the earth. Adelabu, the PDP chairman of what do you call it, of Okene local government, was abducted by people wearing military uniform. They took him away till today. 2019 August till today, he vanished. More than 30 people vanished like that. That is just by the way. Now, in the course of these years, the man does not pay salaries. The only project he points out is that he did one bridge in the center of Lokoja. From that bridge, if you have ever traveled from there, from that bridge, the road that joins that bridge going to Ganaja village is not passable. But he did that one for sure. You don't pay salaries. You have nothing to point to as your achievement. Nothing. So he knows that even ordinarily people will not follow him. So what did he do? The strongest and best candidate invented this spin of he's a tribalist. The tribalist. Yeah, the man. You see, the truth of the matter was this: the major candidates in this election, and the first three candidates, was KOGI East, KOGI West, and KOGI Central. Isn't it? So now we can't deny the fact that we have different ethnicities in KOGI State. But that's not the way we were brothers. This ethnicity they were talking about, where was it before Yahya Bello came now? Where were we carrying daggers? Where were we fighting ourselves before he came? You know, a man who has nothing to offer will look for identity politics. He will look for how to divide people. That is why they started talking. Ajaka is a tribal candidate. He brought ethnic this, he brought ethnic that. So why did he write results in his place now? He should have waited. If Ajaka would not have beaten him there. All those people that have been disappearing in that place, you think his family members, their family members vote for them? All the teachers that are hungry there, all the civil servants that didn't collect salary, they would have voted for him. Why did he write results there? They now come and say this ethnicity, KOGI is tribalistic. We are divided into that. Where was this tribalism before Bello came? Where was it? Yes, of course, identity politics, there is nothing you can do about it. It must exist. It must exist. If you are Igbo, the likelihood that when you stay with another Igbo person, you understand yourself more. Why? You speak the same language. You share the same experiences. You share the same cultures. Your subjective or objective reality is the same. So you, of course, you understand yourself. You understand yourselves more. You know, but to now begin to dwell on it and say it's a tribal candidate, it's bullshit. Bullshit.
You have to mind your language on television.
Sorry, on television. politically correct language. Sorry.
All right, but let's talk about that. What I spoke about, that narrative. Did you witness any of that? Buses coming in.
Buses coming from where now? Let me tell you what happens during elections. During Buhari's election, all the Buhari's first election and even the second one, all the mekeke you see around, all the people who shine shoes, all those people who carry wheelbarrows and hawk things, a lot of them moved. The problem is that where did you register to vote? Do you understand? Where did you, if I register to vote in my place, I want to vote in my village. I live in Abuja, but I registered in KOGI State to vote. I want to determine those who will win election in my area and those who will not. I want to have a say. Because what they do will affect my people, it will affect my land. Okay? I have siblings growing up there. I have a mother who is there. I have relations who are there. At the end of the day, take for instance, in the course of Yaya Bello, my father died last year.
My condolences.
At the age of about 86. Okay? In all my years, I was a council chairman, I was chief secretary to speaker, I was all sorts of things. My father has never asked me for one kobo in his life. As in, the record shows that it is only me who had collected from him before, or who had asked him to give before. Yes, I may have given to him, not because he used to ask. But because of Yaya Bello, the man was calling me and asking for survival. And he was a pensioner. A retired education secretary. He was struggling to survive. And if he didn't have children like me, possibly would have lasted for the number of years he lasted before he died under Yaya Bello. Because most of his mates died out of hunger and disease. That's what happened. So if you don't vote at home, how do you determine whether another Yaya Bello is coming or not? So people will definitely move home to vote. If they move, but whether they were moving in those large numbers, if you move in large numbers and you don't have PVC, how are you going to vote now? So if people who have PVCs move in large numbers, nothing wrong with that. But that anybody moved home and the person has no business going home, what will he be going there to do now? Beavers will not accredit you except you are, what do you call it? Except you are registered. Do you understand?
Interestingly, I just want to continue. I'm not making any, side comments or thereabouts. I just want to note something that happened during the election.
Yes.
The cable newspaper.
Yes, cable online. Yes.
They reported that at a certain point during the election, that there were some persons who approached them and other journalists thinking they were voters, and they said to them, "Come and vote for our brother. You don't need PVC here." That was the comment that was made, which raised concerns about, have some persons been able to figure out how to bypass the beavers? Because that statement was a funny statement. We don't need PVC here. Perhaps it was just an off. Well,
the truth of the matter is, you see, the beavers will do the accreditation. Then the fear is that by the time you end up one person thumbprints one, because if you are going to put 238,000 votes, if we screen it, if we pass it through, what do you call that thing? If you pass it through forensic screening, there has to be 238,000 fingerprints, isn't it? Which you cannot get. So the more fingerprints they get, and of course the forensic screening will not recognize that this is Ogbewe's own and this is Audu's own. It will not. As long as there are two different fingerprints here, but maybe if you have a situation whereby one fingerprint is the same, those ones, it will automatically be assumed that it is thumbprinting. So they are looking for people who will help them thumbprint, not registered voters. So that, but you see, the law is very clear. The accreditation matters. And once the vote is won in the essence of accreditation, it is cancelled. There's no reward or anything. No. Well, we want to see how they want to escape that in court. We are waiting. We are interested. We are interested. We want to see how they want to do it. If they now announce that Viva's accreditation, they said that in the presidential case, the Supreme Court said something about accreditation in the one of the, what do they call it, Osun State. The Supreme Court said something about accreditation. Like I keep saying, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not interested in what they do. I'm not. Because even if I confront them in an argument and I have superior argument, they tell me I'm a layman. Because I'm not trained and I don't wear those their funny things, I'm not intelligent enough to argue with. So I'm not interested in their whatever. But if they are now saying that the ones that we read in black and white, that overvoting, the presiding officer shall, what's the, anyway, like I told you, I don't bother quoting that section, shall cancel. Shall cancel. So if they are now saying that overvoting will not be cancelled, it will be admitted. Okay, now let them bring it on, no problem. But at least it will have been on record. So the next time I'm going for election, all I need to do is, instead of spending money campaigning, spending money mobilizing people and all that, I will start targeting INEC officers to buy results sheets from them. That's what we do. Let them set that standard for us, and let the courts legitimize it. Let's see. If INEC sets the standard and the court legitimizes it, that's all we do now. But it's very funny that INEC is what do you call it? INEC is biased even in that. You understand? INEC is
also.
I'm looking at the word. It's what do you call it? It plays double standard. It plays double standard in that. In Bayelsa, somebody wrote result and you cancelled it. In 2 local governments, you cancelled it. I don't want to talk of Imo because honestly I don't have the facts about Imo, but I have the facts in KOGI. This one was glaring. You even admitted, you announced that the result sheets had leaked into the hands of crooks, and you admitted it. You say you're going to do another election while the result collation and announcement was going on. You waited. They now declared the man. You asked, okay, wait, we will use 7 days to review it. For those 7 days, before the expiration of the 7 days, you handed over the certificate of return to the man. So we are waiting for this thing. We are waiting. It is possible. It is possible that they have very smart lawyers, or by some other means we don't know. Like one APC man was saying in Jos that they are going to Supreme Court. That is the judge, what do you call it? The governor that his election was declared null and void by
what state?
No, Plateau State.
Okay.
One APC chieftain was saying, the video is all over, it's viral, that they are going to Supreme Court and they will win and show you that you will know more than whoever you know will know the person that will know people more than you know people. I'm not talking of law, they're not talking of justice. I'm talking of people they know. Let's see whether they have smart lawyers, or like the Plateau man said, whether they know people to be able to get away with this. If they get away with it, we'll clap for them. We'll clap for them. Then we'll tell everybody to go and buy result sheets.
Well, we still hope, we still have hope in the judiciary at the end of the day.
Yes,
this is the last hope, so we have to. But just to get your thoughts, regardless of whoever may have started it, do you think there was a part to that ethnic talk in terms of the way voting went? I think I've answered that. What I mean is for your candidate particularly, he won all but one local government from his own region. Yes. So the elections are over now. Yes, I know we are going to court and all of that, but it's always important to know how we begin to bring people back together if there was some level of division. So, how do you see that going forward?
You see, when you say you won one but one local government from the state and didn't win the rest elsewhere, that would not be fair. The results of at least 5 local governments is in contention. Ajaka, Okene, Okehi, Adajoh, Magongo. You cannot honestly say he didn't win in those places. You can't say. We're not expecting him to have won every local government now. You cannot honestly say he didn't win, except those results are out and they are acceptable. We are talking of results that even INEC raised questions and went ahead to announce. We are talking of results that the evidence is there on IREV that those results were written and not votes of human beings. The evidence is there. So you cannot say he didn't win. In the places where, the truth of the matter, I keep saying, you can't run away from identity politics. People speak a language. They come from that background, they come from that culture. The fact that they will be more popular in that area is higher. Is higher. The only person who has defied that in the early days of Nigerian politics was Nnamdi Azikiwe. When he went to the West, Yoruba land, and was winning elections there. But after some time, they had to run back. They drove him away from there. They had to run back to this thing. Somebody said he fell from the Zik. Ojukwu said he fell from the Zik of Africa to the Owele of Onitsha. Okay? So you cannot run away from identity politics. That he is popular, he is very popular in his place. My brother, is his strength. That's why he doesn't need to write results. He doesn't need thugs or INEC to write results. Because people will go and vote for him. Why didn't Yaya Bello and Ododo? If they are very popular, since we are very tribalistic, and the Igberas do not see the Igalas eye to eye, the Igalas do not see the Igberas eye to eye, why did they write results now? Why didn't they wait for Igbera to come and vote for them? Let's see how it would have turned out. Don't forget, in February this year, there was a senatorial election out of 5 local governments of KOGI Central. Only Okene was won, and Okene, after they did that, they chased everybody away on record and wrote the results. The 4 other local governments, Ugorimagongo, Okehi, Adaji, Ajakuta, was won by Natasha Akpoti. They still went to Coalition Center. They are experts in writing results. They went to Coalition Center and wrote results. That Senate seat had been collected and handed back to Natasha. Natasha is in the Senate now. Okay? They still wrote results. So you lost 5 local governments. You that have been governor for almost 8 years. Your candidates, and you see, even after the court sacked the guy, he came to hold a press conference and say he has accepted the result. So what are we saying? It is Yaya Bello that is on the ballot, not anybody else. It's the one who is on the ballot. So you as governor for 8 years, a nursing mother, Natasha was breastfeeding. He ran for election and defeated you. Out of 5, she won 4. Even the 5th one, she would have won if you didn't write results. That's a man that is popular. That KOGI will be decided along tribal line for him. It is in his interest to whip up ethnic sentiments. It is in his interest to whip up ethnic sentiments. When you talk of ethnicity, the Ohino of Ibrahim just died a few days to the election now. Who doesn't know that the Ohino he called our candidate and said, "Look, you are my son," and I anointed him? That is the custodian of Igbira culture. That is the custodian of Igbira. I mean, he is the father of Igbira land and the father of KOGI State. He endorsed our candidate. So if our candidate was such a tribalist, hated the Igbira so much, then the king of Igbira will bring him in to his palace and announce to the whole world. We have just one problem. The problem is Yaya Bello.
All right, let's quickly talk. You mentioned Senator Natasha there. Yeah. I just want to get your own opinion now. Does it seem as though the PDP was kind of sidelined in all of this, because the candidate is also alleging perhaps that because of the way things went, he probably would have ended up winning the election too. So
well. I give it to the candidate. As you can tell, the candidate has his own strengths, isn't it? He was overwhelmed in his area because what they simply did there was vote buying. And Yaya Bello said 2-3 days ago that he was going to favor the area because they rejected the fruitless ambition of their brothers. That is, anybody who had ambition, anybody from KOGI West who had ambition to become governor, is embarking on a fruitless ambition. That was what he said. So he was supposed to have his own strength, but he was bought out. In their area, they were giving 10,000 naira per voter and giving Ankara and some other place giving rice, palliative rice and all those things. Okay? And let me tell you, poverty has been weaponized in KOGI. The number of poor people that we have. What did we do in our areas? In our own area, in my local government? More than 4 or 5 people were arrested with cash that they were going to election. What we did was to provide intelligence to the security agencies, grab them and collect the cash. So when we come to polling unit, you don't have cash, we don't have cash, you can't beat us anymore. And none of them could get to the polling unit with cash. Because that was the tactics we used. That was the tactics we used. The videos that I can show you now, the local government chairman, the auditor general of the state were caught with large amounts of cash and ammunition and paraded. That was what we did. But in those west area, I'm not sure they applied the same strategy to curb the vote buying thing. So they bought votes. If they didn't buy votes, how? I'm talking about a candidate that a lot of them cannot identify. They will go and beat Dino in Ijumu, Dino's local government. You go and beat Dino in Kaba. Then go to Yagba area and beat Abejide in Mopamura and beat Abejide in what do you call it, Yagba West. It's not a possibility now. You understand? But because we weaponized poverty and the money was flowing freely. I mean, to what extent do you think a rural, wretched person can resist temptation? You hold 10,000 naira in your hand, and you are carrying Ankara about how many yards? Come and take. These are people. Okay, do you know that civil servants in KOGI, as I talk to you, local government civil servants, those rural areas where they went to show you that money, there are some of them, their salary, take home pay in a month, it's about 3,500 or 4,000 naira. Percentage salary paid by Ayabelo. We are talking of desperate poverty. Look at the people they take money to buy votes. You understand? But we outsmarted them in that area. But in their own area, they did not. What they do, they know. I've told you that over 30 people disappeared in the course of that place. You oppose them, you disappear, nothing will happen. You oppose them, you disappear. I've made this allegation repeatedly and I've challenged them to deny it. Then we'll give them the list. Let them hold a judicial commission inquiry of the people who have disappeared there. So they go there, they write results. The other place, they bought it. You cannot say that Ajaka didn't get votes. How can you, in a place that the votes are dubious, cannot use what happened there to judge whether somebody got votes or not? At least in KOGI West, KOGI local government and local, in spite of whatever they did, he had more than 25%. That is what the law requires. In Ajakuta, in the Ganaja area, the Ganaja and Ajakuta township, that they could not penetrate with their result writing and their money. What happened? The results declared from there, over 10 wards. Ajaka won those wards. Ajaka won about 11 or 12, about 9 of, about in Ghana, about 9 of 11 or 12 polling units. He won. He won them. Is that KOGI East? It's not KOGI East. It's KOGI Central. He won them. So when they bring their dubious mantra of tribalism, no, it is not. It is not, sir.
Yes, that's fair enough. I believe we have a robust view of your stance and your party's stance. So I want to end on a general question, just to get your thoughts. I'm sure you're aware of the call by the PDP presidential candidate, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, for opposition to unite so that they can begin to challenge the APC and take back power and so on and so forth.
Too little, too late.
Well, the NNPP has indicated interest in that measure. So I'm wondering, what about the SDP?
Too little, too late. Too little, too late. By the time 2027 comes, those same human beings will start moving funnily around. They didn't know that even together in 2019 with PDP as one strong indivisible party against APC, it was difficult to beat APC. When he now went and balkanized PDP, Kwakwaso took his own Kanu, NNPP, Obi, LP, then I think we now had the rest. Wicked took his own reverse and held it in his chest and was looking for who was the highest bidder to give it to. I know that you want to win elections, and now that you have lost, and now saying people will come and unite how? Unite how? If you unite at the crucial time, why is it now you want to unite? Did you know they were facing elections then? Somebody that you know, okay, look at the popularity Obi was able to garner. We're telling them in PDP, I was a member of PDP. We're telling them when nobody wants to listen, they say, no, Obi is just social media. Obi is just social media.
Somebody as popular as Obi, they will go and do one something. They want to do Congress in Anambra State. Obi will not even have delegates. They will not see the list of delegates. You can't do those things and survive, my friend. You will not do it and survive. Can PDP change? Why did we leave PDP now? Why did I leave PDP for SDP? We're going to do governorship primary, and they were writing names for people. You do Congress. You do Congress on the field. You win and come and write names for people and go and impose the names so that they will go and vote for who they want to. Will PDP be able to change? I beg the anyway. Besides doing some languages, but they should just take it easy.
I think I get your message there about that measure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. It's been great hearing from you, and hopefully we hope to see some of the things you said, perhaps particularly with court and all of that, and we'll see how it turns out. Thank you so much for coming. All right, that's all we can take on the program, this segment for today. Thank you so much for joining us. We've been speaking about the KOGI issue and the aftermath and what the SDP hopes to gain ahead or after the results were called. So that's all. We'll end this part right now. We'll go on a break. When we return, we'll bring to you a few more updates, and then we call it a day. Thank you so much.